The English language change that we'll be going through today is another pure creation episode where I'm creating a new word to describe a concept, and what I will be describing and making a name for today is a type of speech and way of talking and presenting oneself. And basically, it's kind of a lesson in mostly self-handicapping and having not completely confident speech, but to the point where like you can't be wrong whenever you say anything at the same time. So I'm going to go through and like layer through some examples of how that works and what I'm actually meaning by this to try to narrow down kind of a definition a little bit. And then I will be giving a name to categorize this type of way of speaking. So it's essentially giving zero certainty in anything that you say and always having kind of a fallback where you can't be blamed for whatever you say. So this could be an example of like giving someone advice or answering someone and then saying, but I don't know, at the end. So just like adding that level where it's like, I'm giving you this advice, but I'm saying I don't know because I'm not 1,000% certain. So if it turns out to be wrong, you can't blame me. That's basically the core of what I'm describing here. And I do this all the time. Basically always. Because I am someone who is like so honest in trying to be like always correct and truthful that like I can never say that I'm 100% certain about something. And that's why I also like I don't like promises, or I'll never go through promises. It's like you promise to show up to something. What happens if you fucking die before you get there? You broke your promise. You're bad friend or bad person for that. Like, promises. There is no promises in this world. There is no certainty in this world. There's stuff that approaches it. You can get to 99.999% certainty of something, but it's not 100%. So I basically always reflect this in my speech, that like nothing is certain. And it's something that you kind of need to like do away with in certain scenarios. When you have to like appear confident, you want to say that something is one way. If you instead say that this is most likely like this, or it's probably like this, you appear weaker in your speech and less confident. However, you're probably more correct. I typically err on the side of trying to be correct, and I'm already confident enough. I don't need to exude that I'm right about everything all the time because I have enough of that vibe already. I don't need to have it exactly like that in my speech. And this pops up a lot at like work. I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like this. When I'm 99% sure that something is true, I still am probably throwing a pretty sure out there, or most likely. And I'm always kind of self-handicapping. But I always leave a little like light tween area there where I can still be wrong and they can't blame me because I'm like, oh, but I said I didn't know. I gave you advice, but I'm like, I don't know, or I'm not sure. And I'm always adding attachments to my statements like that. And I don't know if that's a good thing that I do that, but it's just something that ends up happening. Like I'm being truthful when I'm going through this stuff. And it makes it so like I can never be blamed or like totally blamed. It's like, oh, I kind of warned you. I showed that there was a little uncertainty there. So those are just some examples and really the summary of what it is. It's like self-handicapping everything you say so that you're never wrong and you can never be blamed. And what I came up with as the word to describe this is capeech. And so capeech is like cap, as in handicap. And then each at the end is just pulled like straight from speech. So together they make capeech. And capeech is just kind of fun to say. And now a sentence that is able to be said logically is, all right, I'm hearing enough capeech. Capeech? If you're telling someone, hey, speak up, be confident, quit handicapping. That is now a sentence that you could say in that scenario. Just beautiful. And so I think that's the full word creation we have. Probably a very specific neatest definition to things that I do. However, I'm sure the phenomenon exists elsewhere. And that's going to do it for the word change stuff. Let's move on to our comment of the day. Comment of the day comes from none other than Gavin again. And Gavin appears to be a little bit of a salty little boy in this one. He says, I am going to shwish from these comments. Can't believe you think people are disturbed by my loose anus farts. Shwish. And Gavin, I would say I wasn't really saying that everyone is disturbed by your loose anus farts. However, I actually do think that is accurate. I mean, your farts are some of the more disturbing from most people that I've ever encountered. You have some of the most notorious, terrifying, devastating occurrences of your anus. So I don't think that's completely unjustified. However, I still think this is a fairly fun comment. You got 2 of the priority Wiplish words used. We're going to give you a 162 out of 223. Now for the song of the day, we have just a beautiful, mostly classical kind of soundtrack type piece. So there's no singing, and it's just a tranquil, somber, orchestral piece that is just so capturing and pensive, and I really, really enjoyed this song. The song is On the Nature of Daylight by Max Richter. And then for the video of the day, we have Ernie Johnson listing the top 75 team for the NBA, and he included all the top 75 players while making every single line of them rhyme, and I absolutely love this show. I love Ernie Johnson, and he did a very me, Wippy Thoughts thing in constructing this poem to present these players, and he did a fabulous job. Everything the dude touches turns to gold, and so that's what the video of the day is. And that's going to finish up everything for the Daily Do. Peace out.